It's now my great pleasure to welcome to the stage our guest of honor, representing the Prime Minister of Australia, the Honourable Scott Morrison.
Thank you very much, Joseph, my dear friend, and to Angela. It's tremendous to be here with you and your family here in the Ethnic Business Awards after 26 years. To Margaret Abbott and to all my parliamentary colleagues who are here this evening, your eminences, your graces, your excellencies, and most importantly, those who are here tonight to celebrate another year of achievement of business in the ethnic community across Australia and in the broader Australian community. It is a great privilege to be here at this very distinguished event and to be here in particular with my very good friend Joseph Asaf. I also want to say that the government, as previous governments have been, are pleased to support these awards here tonight, and I acknowledge that particularly Senator Connie Fierravanti-Wells, who through the Department of Social Services, that is now the department that is driving our settlement services program, is pleased to support tonight's event. Australia is the most successful immigrant nation on earth. And I say that with others in the room here tonight who may seek claim to this. But I firmly believe this is the case. More than half of our population are first or second generation migrants to Australia. More than half. For the first time at the 2011 census, that is the trigger point, the threshold we crossed. More than half of this country has two of their parents or one of their parents born overseas, or they themselves were born overseas. And the Scanlon Foundation, and I think if we're going to acknowledge people tonight, I think Peter Scanlon is one of those people from the Migration Council of Australia, and a tremendous philanthropist who has supported diversity and multiculturalism and immigration in this country over many years. Just last week released a further report which brought together work done by Monash University, and it found that right now there is the greatest support for immigration in Australia since the mid-1970s. The lowest level of Australians who have concerns about immigration levels being too high. The lowest level since the 1970s. And this bears out other research that has been done by Newspoll and the Lowy Institute, which shows there's 65 to 70% of Australians are very supportive of Australia's immigration program. Now, you may think that you would expect to see those figures in Australia, and we do, and we should. But that's not the case in other parts of the world. In Europe, those figures show that 60% of their communities are opposed to the current levels of immigration policies in those countries. In the United States and the United Kingdom, the figures are over 70%. So we have something here that is quite precious in this country, and that is the acknowledgement and success of an immigration program that we can all be very, very proud of. And it is no accident that it has been that successful here in this country. The economic engagement and participation of migrants who have come to Australia, not just since 1945, but since 1788, demonstrates, I think, something remarkable. This is an immigration program that is an economic program, not a welfare program. It is a program that is based on having integrity in that process, and one that integrates the diversity that comes from immigration into our incredible nation. It is a program that is based on people who have come to make a contribution to this country rather than seek one. And tonight, I think we see that demonstrated no better than anywhere else. And those who have come to this country have achieved remarkable things, as Joseph was just saying. When you look at the indices of labour force participation, when you look at the indices of educational attainment, particularly in second generation, the children of first generation migrants, it's not only at the mainstream standards in Australian society, it's better. It's better, because the investment that flows from the generations that migrants that have come to Australia flows on from one generation to the next. But there is one figure that I think that's particularly pertinent tonight, and that is that more than 1 in 6 working migrants, that is people born overseas in this country, when they go to work for themselves. More than 1 in 6. That is higher than the level across the general population in Australia. And there are some nationalities, and Joseph will like this, and I think Table 6 will like this as well. Amongst the Lebanese community, it's more than double that. It's more than double that. And there are many other communities that also perform well in that context. And I think that's very relevant tonight, that we recognise the entrepreneurial nature of our migrant communities and their descendants here in Australia, as we do in this night. Because amongst this group we gather this evening, we don't gather together a group of victims. We gather together a group of people that have triumphed over the adversity they've faced in building the businesses that they have built. They have overcome loss, they have overcome disappointment, they have overcome prejudice, and they've overcome discrimination. And they haven't yielded to these forces, they've risen above them. They've risen above them and they've triumphed. And one of the great successes of immigration in this country is that each wave of migrants has come to this country, they have added layer upon layer upon layer to the national character. And there is no greater character in this country than the one that rises above adversity, that triumphs over the circumstances which they face, whether it's on the Anzac Cove at Gallipoli or it's out on that shop floor where you're trying to build a business. And the ability to be able to rise over that is something that enables us, I think, to see the addition to the national character that ethnic business has made to this country. So tonight we celebrate that. As a country, we have yielded the dividend of your efforts, and you have made us a stronger nation. Congratulations and best of luck to all the nominees tonight.